Well, hello everyone, and welcome inside the Rogers Center for game number 3 of this AL East opening of 2020 matchup between the Boston Red Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays. And the home team Blue Jays have taken the first 2 games of this 4-game set, and that man right there, Rafael Devers, a slow start for his Boston Red Sox. They'll look to get their first win of the season today against Tanner Roark, who makes his first start for the Blue Jays.
Well, picked up in the offseason as a free agent, maybe overshadowed a little bit by Hyunjin Ryu's acquisition, but they got him early in the offseason. He's going to come in and be a stabilizing presence. That's what they're getting him for. He'll have an ERA somewhere around the 4 range, but if he can pitch somewhere up around 200 innings, that'll be a successful season in the eyes of the Jays management.
And his very first opponent in his Blue Jays tenure is Andrew Benintendi, leading off for the Red Sox today, and we are underway here in game number 3, and as mentioned, the Blue Jays taking the first 2 games, and Drew, I think the biggest takeaway from those first 2 games is, the pitching for the Blue Jays has been excellent thus far.
The pitching for the Jays is going to be interesting to watch because the lineup is the core that they've developed. They've got these guys that have been in the system, a lot drafted by the Jays, but the pitching they've gone out of the organization to acquire. And if they can find these guys to supplement the core that they've built among the position players, this team could be ready to compete sooner rather than later.
And you talk about the pitching, them getting it, kind of outsourcing it, if you will. That's kind of something that's gone against the Blue Jays, strategy in recent times. Often they like to build from home. They don't go out in free agency and spend a ton. As Benintendi rips that one down over to right field, he shows off after that one because that one, and it's foul. Man, he thought that one was gone, didn't he?
Well, he drilled that ball to right field. He just couldn't keep it fair.
And then Roark delivers a strikeout punch, answering back a little bit. You can walk back to the dugout after that one and pick up your bat while you're at it.
Well, White Sox legend Mark Burley always talked about when you give up a hard foul ball like that, you have to realize that all it is a strike. So Roark battles back and gets him on the very next pitch. Tough for Andrew Benintendi right there.
No kidding, especially on the road and especially winless thus far. Maybe not the time to be showboating, especially when you're hitting foul balls. But nonetheless, Rafael Devers steps to the plate now and takes a first pitch ball. That one misses inside.
Benintendi just 2 for his first 8, including 0 for his first 5 to start the season. Really would have wanted that one.
Absolutely, and that probably plays into why he was so celebratory after that hit. Because, the whole top end of this Red Sox lineup, Benintendi, Devers, Martinez, even Bogaerts, not exactly the hottest start to the season. They've really struggled to the plate, as we talked about the Blue Jays having very strong pitching to open the season.
Well, despite the struggles, both managers running the exact same lineup that we saw here last night. The Blue Jays, of course, 2-0, so it makes sense they haven't changed anything, but the Red Sox sticking to their guns. The exact same lineup top to bottom.
As Devers hits that one, and it'll be foul past the first base line. And Rafael Devers, the man at the plate, mentioned him briefly in the pregame. He's had a very, very slow start to this season. He's still in the 2-hole today as he rips that one, fouls it off over to the left field side. But tough start for him, and he's part of this crop of young Red Sox talent that they've brought up in recent times. But struggling out the gate. Here's a hit over to right field, and call my bluff once again, as that one is a base hit to right field.
Oh, a good 2-strike approach there. He got a ball that he was able to pull a little bit and didn't try and do too much with it. Finds a nice gap between where the infield ends and the outfield begins, and Teoscar Hernandez has no chance to make a play on that one.
And that's what the Red Sox need to be doing more of, I think, in this series, is getting the top end of their lineup on base for guys like JD Martinez, who is DHing today, hit 36 bombs. And in 2019, he had 32 and a 304 average, 115 RBI. I mean, this is a guy who consistently can put up good home run numbers. And you've talked about earlier in this series, Drew, as one of the more pure hitters in this lineup.
Well, he reached base twice yesterday. You can see on the screen, 2018 AL Hank Aaron Award. He's got the resume and he's got the skills to really show off that bat.
Hitters count now 3-0 as Xander Bogaerts waits on deck. And for JD Martinez, with the runner on here, looking to try to move him over and get some going here early as he swings past that nice changeup offering from Tanner Roark there, just outside past the plate, and Martinez was chasing there. 3-1 count now. Similar placement on a 2-seam this time, and it's fouled off. Full count now. As Roark tries to get 2 outs here in this first inning. Oh, excellent pitch there. That 2-seam got right in on the hands of JD, and there's 2 away now.
That's exactly what Roark wants to do with the fastball. He throws the 2-seamer a little bit more than the 4-seamer, and you'll use it on righties more than lefties. If he can jam him on a pitch that's breaking in on the hands, as you can see, JD Martinez has no chance to try and do anything with that pitch. A little bit off the plate, but he ends up extending the zone and going after what would have probably been ball 4.
And then he kicks this at-bat off with a painting the bottom left corner of the plate there to Xander Bogaerts, who, he's had a pretty slow start to this season, hitting 143 and in the 4-hole, obviously not helping out with the production too much as he grounds that one over to Vladdy at third, who will go to Biggio at second for the force out. And Tanner Roark gets through his first inning of work with the Blue Jays and then remains tied here in Toronto. And welcome back as we take a look at Hector Velázquez, the starter for the Boston Red Sox today.
Sinker baller, right-handed pitcher here who has an interesting past. We saw Marcus Walden, who's not a traditional starter. Velázquez also comes out of the pen quite often, and he's got some very different splits. He's thrown 66 innings as a starter with a 5.3 ERA, and as a reliever, he's got an ERA under 3 in 100 innings. So much better results out of the pen so far in his career, but in 2020, getting a spot in the rotation, we'll see if he'll be able to turn that around.
As Bo Bichette steps into the box and takes a first pitch strike from Velázquez. The Red Sox 0-2 to start this season, and in Boston it's a big market for baseball. It's a big sports market in general, and I can't imagine even so early in this season that sports radio in Boston would be thrilled with the way that this road trip to Toronto has gone thus far.
Well, especially when the whole offseason story was so negative. There's just more negativity to start the season.
As Bo Bichette fouls off an 0-2 pitch there. Very slow start for Bo Bichette as well in the leadoff position. Now, he's played very well defensively at shortstop, and perhaps that's something that's kind of taken a lot of his focus away from the plate as he drills that inside pitch foul past the third base line. But Drew, speak a little bit to maybe the pressure on Bo Bichette early in this season. I mean, the offseason felt like a bit of a media tour for him. He was on the halftime of the Raptors game on Christmas Day and things like that. He's kind of been doing the media circus as he strikes out there. Anything to that maybe?
Well, Bichette and Biggio, they both, as well as Guerrero, they saw MLB experience last year, but being called up midway through the season, this is their first chance being in that opening day atmosphere. They were late mid-season call-ups, so there's just something special when you see the banners everywhere and the packed stadiums, this AL East matchup, back to baseball. You get the spring training that's nowhere near the same level of pressure, and this is something they're seeing for the first times in their careers, so I think it's fair that there's going to be a little bit of a period of adjustment here for all of these young hitters.
As Cavan Biggio steps in and takes first pitch ball. Bit of a slow start to his season as well. Again, good defense, though. Something, to build upon. And Biggio, one of the hardest workers on this Blue Jays team, as, reported numerous times. And good guy in the room, so to speak, as he takes ball 3 here as Velázquez is continuing to miss with that changeup. On a 3-0 count, Biggio looking to get on base here. Here's Velázquez's 9th pitch of the game, and that sinker inside, and the ump doesn't give it to him. Biggio will take a walk. And with 1 out here, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. comes to the plate.
That can be a tough call to try and get, no matter how hard Tristan Vazquez tries to frame it. The sinker ball breaks away from a lefty like Biggio, so that was breaking towards the strike zone there. But since it started away from it, it's tough for Vazquez to bring that into the zone when the umpire sees it as a ball most of the way towards the plate.
As Hector Velázquez, definitely something to consider early on here, and more of you talked about a bit earlier, Drew, more of kind of not a conventional starter, bit of a theme for the Red Sox this year. It'd be interesting to see what he delivers this season, as that one's popped up back past the first base line, and it is caught by Moreland there. Gurriel will be retired on the play.
Similar to what we saw with Roark trying to jam with the two-seam fastball, that pitch from Velázquez is going to be very effective as the sinker baller in on the righties is going to try and jam the bats and induce that soft contact like we just saw popping up into foul territory.
As Vlad Guerrero Jr. now step to the plate as he drills that one to deep right field. Pilar is there to make the play, gets right underneath it, and it remains tied here in Toronto. Moreland, Chavis, and Vazquez coming up for the Red Sox. Welcome back to Toronto as We remain 0-0 here now in the top of the second. Tanner Roark's second inning of work, already at 20 pitches, as Moreland will step into the box and having a pretty good start to the year. You know, Moreland's gone kind of all around this Red Sox lineup.
He has pretty drastic splits between facing righties and lefties. So today he's back up in the 5-hole against the righty Tanner Roark, and you can probably expect to see him there or close to there tomorrow as we see Chase Anderson make his Blue Jays debut.
Roark with a couple nice pitches to start this inning, and that two-seam just off the plate. Moreland able to foul it off. But we're noticing Roark get ahead in a lot of counts here, something you definitely want to do early on in this contest, especially against a lefty, no less. That one's fouled off as well, that two-seam offering. We're seeing a lot of two-seams as well from Tanner Roark early in this game. And here's the 0-2, looking for the punch-out. Inside curveball there, gets a little too far inside.
Well, that's one of the first curveballs we've seen from him. He's got a complete repertoire with a couple fastballs, a pair of breaking balls, throwing both a slider and a curveball, as well as a nice changeup to complement the rest.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Inside changeup swung on, and it'll carry foul into the seats here at Rogers Center. And we don't have full attendance numbers, but there aren't too many empty seats today on a beautiful afternoon/evening for baseball. The roof is still closed. It's a little chilly here in Toronto, but nonetheless, fans are very excited to see baseball back. And here's the 2-2 pitch. That changeup just low to Moreland. Now a full count.
Great battle here. Roark is going to be all around the zone, so those borderline pitches are important to take for a batter like Moreland, especially when the ball's sinking down away from you. You don't want to ground into anything.
And that one check swing, and they'll say he didn't go, but and he takes a base instead. Wow, a bit of a the umpire may have gotten fooled a little bit there. That pitch looked like it was in the strike zone.
Yeah, it was right on the black. Called a ball. Could have gone either way. This check swing, yeah, it's close. Looks like he holds up. So Moreland will take first base, and they've got their leadoff runner aboard.
Certainly not our job to umpire the game, only to call it. But we'll let you at home decide how you feel about that call. Michael Chavis next up. Slow start to his season as well, hitting in the 6-hole today, but tough go at it yesterday for him. 0-for-3 with the strikeout.
We talked about it earlier. The strikeout is kind of what did in his rookie season towards the end of the years. He got bit hard by the swing and miss bug.
As that one is hit right to Travis Shaw, who will make the play and tries to tag or double up Moreland at first, but he can't quite do it. But nevertheless, one away now for the Blue Jays, or for the Red Sox rather. In the top of the second is Christian Velázquez steps up to the plate. 23 home runs last year, and having actually quietly a very good start to this season as well.
Well, he was the only one that was able to get aboard against Giles in the first game and almost sparked the rally back there as he represented a tying run. But yeah, he's going to give you some quietly nice offensive production, especially from what is otherwise usually a pretty unproductive offensive position, the catcher.
And we notice, in his last year, he got a lot more at-bats in Boston, a lot more opportunity. And with that, had his best statistical hitting or career year hitting statistically wise in terms of his home runs and his average and everything else. And it's good to see in Boston. They haven't had a catcher like that in some time. Christian Velázquez is starting to fill that void a little bit. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on there on the high fastball. Tanner Roark delivers another strikeout, his third of the game already.
And all of them swinging, and 2 of the 3 on that elevated fastball. If he can get that fastball high in the zone, it'll create the illusion it's coming a little harder than it is. He throws his fastball around 92, 93, up to 94, 95 when he's really pushing for it. But when you elevate it in the zone, the batter has to get his bat head out earlier to keep up with it, and it'll give you a bit more perceived velocity.
And that's not something that's very easy to do, as Kevin Pillar takes a second pitch strike here. 0-2 count as he's let a high fastball in the zone and a low changeup both get in there for strikes. Now 0-2 all of a sudden. as that slider carries outside. And Tanner Roark already up to 39 pitches. What kind of leash do you think Blue Jays manager Charlie Montoyo will put on a guy like Tanner Roark in this outing?
I mean, it's still early in the season. He didn't pitch in the stint in Montreal, so he should be pretty fresh. I would imagine he'll have a relatively long leash, but on the same note, the bullpen is also quite rested. So if Montoyo sees signs of struggling, he could go to a guy like Pannone or Gavilio that are capable of giving multiple innings.
We even saw Shinya Yamaguchi do it the other day as well in his first Major League win as Kevin Pillar fouls off that 2-2 pitch. And Kevin Pillar, very slow start to his season as well. High strikeout rate as well. As he drills that one to deep left field, Gurriel giving chase, and he'll get underneath it and make the play. And that'll retire Pillar and retire the Red Sox in this inning as we head to the bottom of the second, due up Shaw, Hernandez, and Grichuk here in Toronto. Well, everyone, and welcome back to the Rogers Center as Travis Shaw hitting in the 5-hole today for the Blue Jays and playing first base once again for the third day in a row. And he takes that first pitch for a ball. Slider just misses outside.
Well, he's still looking for his first Blue Jays career hit. He's had some deep accounts and ground into a fielder's choice, but hasn't quite gotten anything in the hit column yet.
As he swings on that low slider offering from Velázquez. Lots of sliders early on for Hector Velázquez. He, trying to get a rhythm, trying to get a feel for it here. And this isn't exactly an easy situation for kind of more of a bullpen guy to be put in. But you know what? He's definitely got some good stuff, good movement on his pitches, and if he can get that command going, it's something that the Red Sox would love to see. 1-2 pitch now to Shaw. And that fastball misses low there. 2-2 count to the former Milwaukee Brewer and Boston Red Sox player, Travis Shaw. Here's the pitch. That one swung on, hit up the middle. And Bogaerts will get there. Makes the play. Throws to Moreland for the out. Bogaerts in a heavy shift on Shaw, the lefty, but nonetheless is able to make that play on the ball hit up the middle there.
Well, Shaw has seen that shift for almost the entirety of his career. A very pull-heavy lefty. A lot of guys built like that with that kind of power get the treatment, and Shaw is used to it by now. That ground ball up the middle for some might have seemed like a potential base hit, but not with the shift on.
As Teoscar Hernandez fouls off that first pitch, just past the third base line. Here's the 0-1. And that slider misses just outside. Lots of sliders missing, but the way I've always thought about it, Drew, and maybe this isn't conventional baseball thinking, but a slider, you don't mind that missing because, again, you want these hitters to chase. Am I correct about that?
Especially when you're working sinker-slider, because both of them have some break to it. You want the two coming out of the same type of tunnel and setting up the effect that they complement each other.
As Hernandez skies that one over to center field, Jackie Bradley Jr. playing center field for the Red Sox today makes the play. 2 away now in the bottom of the second for the Red Sox.
Just to continue about Velázquez's repertoire, so he's got the sinker slider as well as a straight changeup that'll drop almost straight down, not much horizontal movement to it. So if he can kind of play the sinker and slider off of each other, then complement it by changing speeds with the changeup, even though he's not, as you mentioned, a traditional starter, he has the pieces and the tools to work with that he can create the same type of effect that a pitcher might craft with their repertoire.
As he gets Grichuk on that changeup there, 1-1 count now, evening up the count. And Randall Grichuk has had a tremendous start to this season. And I think one thing that he's done really well, not just in manning center field for the Blue Jays, but also kickstarting the bottom of the lineup, which has been really productive with Grichuk, Drury, and Jansen so far for the Blue Jays.
Well, they signed him for his pop. That was one of the big reasons that they gave him that extension. Of course, he plays solid defense, but the home run potential is there. You know he has some power. He's found the gap so far, and he just needs to try and keep that up.
Hitting .429 through the first 2 games for the Blue Jays as he swings on that low sinker offering. Can he beat the shift? Not quite, but oh my goodness. Mitch Moreland makes the play. Fields throws to Velázquez very early. I mean, Velázquez was kind of just off the mound. Wow.
Yeah, that is not the fundamentals that they would have gone through just mere days ago for spring training drills, but the official score is going to credit that as a base hit. I feel like it would be fair to give an error to Moreland there. We'll see if that one might get changed because, as you mentioned, the throw very early and very offline. Velázquez had to twist all the way around to grab that. And when they preach throwing to the base, that is not what you saw there.
And for our radio listeners, you know, Grichuk beats the shift. Moreland was well off the first base side. He comes back, actually makes a very good play, but the throw just way too early. I mean, they would have had a decent chance at getting Grichuk at first, you know, had they, you know, stuck to more fundamental defense at least. But nonetheless, great effort for Grichuk. He reaches on what is scored a base hit. As Brandon Drury, also a very hot start to the season, DHing once again today for the 3rd straight game, now in a 1-1 count. He fouls off that inside slider offering, 1-2 count now.
We talk about Montoya running the same lineup out because it's been working. The DH spot, we might see more of a rotation throughout the year, but Drury so far so good, and he's starting his 3rd game there.
Here's the pitch. That one swung on, popped up. Shallow left field. Bogarts is there, gets under it, and makes the play. And the score remains 0-0. Both pitchers playing very well to open up this contest. We'll head to the 3rd inning here in Toronto. Hello everyone, welcome back to Rogers Center. We're here for game number 3 of the opening series of 2020. An AL East matchup between the Boston Red Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays as Tanner Roark gets back on the mound and throws his 43rd pitch of the day. A ball, low ball there to Jackie Bradley Jr., number 9 hitter for the Red Sox today. He fouls off that 2-seam offering past the 3rd base line.
Bradley getting his 2nd start against back-to-back right-handed pitchers after sitting the opener against the left-handed Ryu.
Yeah, is that a theme that we're going to see a lot this year with the Red Sox, and especially Bradley Jr., you know, sitting against lefties? So he hits that one over to Biggio, and the shift makes the play, but definitely something to consider as Ron Roenicke, the new manager of the Red Sox, tries to settle in and figures out different matchups.
Yeah, I think it'll be something we see develop throughout the season. Everyone is still early, finding their groove so far this season. So depending on who's hitting, who's not, who's doing well against certain handed pitchers, there'll probably be a bit more of a rotation, even considering how Michael Chavis does in the DH spot. We could see him maybe slide to more of a second base position, or what Perez is doing. There's all sorts of different elements that factor in. But Bradley's been a long-time Red Sox, and they kind of know what they've got with him. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing with him.
As Benintendi slaps that offering right back up the middle. Nobody there to field it, and he gets his first base hit of the game after striking out in the 1st inning. Now Rafael Devers, he had a single in the 1st inning as well, and he steps back up to the plate now.
And you notice Roark was able to get Bradley before turning the lineup over. If he had allowed the 9-hitter to reach, it would have been a lot tougher here. When you have the 9-1-2 coming up to start the inning, it's always important you get the 9-hitter out.
2-0 count now to Rafael Devers. You're right about that, Drew. That would have been a very tough situation to deal with, especially as Roark in a little bit of a tough situation here now with Devers in a hitter's count, already 1 for 1 on the day, as he slaps that 2-seam inside offering foul past the 3rd base line. Danny Jansen takes an extra second, takes a little walk towards the mound just to let Roark breathe a little bit here for his 52nd offering of the day. 2-seamer once again fouled off.
2 great fastballs there, both on the edges of the zone. Roark's been good where he's missed, it's been down and not hung up over the middle of the plate.
And look at that. Roark able to get right back in the count after throwing 2 balls to start the count. 3 straight fastballs, gets the strikeout.
So that's his 4th strikeout on the day, and he struck out each of the Red Sox top 3 batters, all swinging on effective use of his fastball to just spot it all around the zone and really set up his other secondary pitches.
Devers would sure want that one back. Good opportunity for him early in the season. Wasn't able to capitalize as JD Martinez pops that one up. Kind of gets in the way of Shaw, but he's still able to get there and make the play now. As JD Martinez is retired, we'll head to the bottom of the third now. It remains 0-0 here in Toronto. And welcome back as we take a look now at Danny Jansen. He's had a tremendous start to this season, catching the 3rd day of work for him in a row, and once again in the number 9 hole for the Blue Jays. As he slaps that one right back, right over into right center field. That one will get through the gap as Jansen gets a ground rule double on that one as it bounces right over the wall.
We talked about how Roark was able to get the first guy out, so when the lineup rolled over, he didn't have to deal with anyone on base. But here we see Velázquez unable to get Jansen, and now he has to face Bichette, Biggio, and Gurriel with already a runner in scoring position and none out.
As Bichette hits that one over to second, it's fielded by Chavis and thrown quickly to Moreland, but Jansen advances to third on the play. 1 away now as they go back. That ground rule double hit by Danny Jansen looked like it actually kind of went under the wall, and the officials ruled it very quickly to be a ground rule double. But nonetheless, Jansen at third, and Kevin Biggio's got a great opportunity here to get an RBI.
Great work by Bichette there. He knew what he had to do with the runner in second, just had to move him over. Sees the pitch he can take to the opposite side of the field and hits that one nice to move Jansen all the way over to just 90 feet away now from scoring the game's opening run.
Yeah, and especially with Bichette having a tough start to the season, you like to see him still being able to advance the runners. That one's hit just inside the first base line. It's a base hit. It'll go down the line. It's fielded by Pilar. Jansen scores, and Biggio slides into second base. It's 1-0 Blue Jays.
And the Blue Jays have the opening run of the game. Biggio just gets that one just inside the foul line, hit all the way into the corner. Pilar will get there, but Biggio pretty quick on his feet into second with an RBI double.
And that's exactly what you want from the bottom of your lineup. Turning it back over. Danny Jansen gets on to start the inning. Bichette moves him over, and Biggio's able to drive him in. That's perfect. Charlie Montoya, it's exactly what he pictured.
Not a bad pitch either on that double. It was in on the hands of Biggio, but Biggio was ready for it and able to get that bat head out early.
Let's see if Lourdes Gurriel Jr. can add to the run scoring here in the third for the Blue Jays as Velázquez surrenders a run here now in the third inning. 1-1 count now to Gurriel Jr. That one swung on that changeup. Doesn't beat Moreland as he's able to dive for it. This time, a much better play throws to Velázquez right at the plate, and they get the out. But Biggio is able to advance the third on the play.
Moreland, you can see why he won a Gold Glove in 2016 with the Rangers. Great reaction there. They get down early and get to that ball because it was hit hard. He didn't have a ton of time to react. And we mentioned a little bit of a blunder last inning with nobody on base. Now with the runner in scoring position, he kind of steps up when he has to and makes a great play there to get the second out of the inning.
And now Vlad Guerrero Jr. looking to keep this inning alive for the Blue Jays as he rips that one down into right field. It'll get down, and there's another RBI as Biggio comes in to score. It's 2-0 Blue Jays.
Well, that's the 4th straight ball we've seen hit to that side of the field. 3 righties now, Bichette, Gurriel, and Guerrero, just taking what's given from Velázquez. Pitches on the outer half of the plate that they're staying on, waiting for, and just driving to the opposite field.
They're doing a great job of it so far. Notice that a lot, as you mentioned, Drew, the ability to spray the ball, use the whole ballpark. Excellent job by the Blue Jays hitters, the young hitters especially. And now in the third inning is a little mound visit there. Pitching coach for the Red Sox went out to visit Hector Velázquez and just had a little conversation. He's up to 38 pitches now, but just telling him to settle down as he has ran into some trouble now his second time through the lineup. It's Travis Shaw takes, and it's a 2-0 count now for him as Velázquez Jr. now at first. Here's the pitch, that slider just high, just above the strike zone. It's a 3-0 count now to Travis Shaw.
Shaw will be looking to do what he did last at-bat, where he ended up grounding out, but what he did was he hit the ball right up the middle. Now there's no shift on, and if he does that, he'll have a base hit.
And we talked about in his first at-bat how he's constantly hitting, against the shift, or trying to hit against the shift, I should say, as teams love to shift on a guy like Shaw. 3-1 count now. And let's see what Velázquez can do to try to get out of this inning. And that he delivers a four-seam strike on the inside part of the plate there. A good pitch for Velázquez, and he needed one.
So Guerrero will be off at first now. Full count, 2 out.
Full count, 2 out. Shaw rips that one, and it'll float foul past the first base line.
Well, he was sitting on that pitch. It looked like he got way out in front, ready for it, and he hit that one hard, but just early.
Velázquez trying to get out of this third inning here, and he delivers an excellent changeup on the inside corner of the plate. Shaw swings through it, a strikeout for Velázquez, and not before damage is done. 2-0 Blue Jays now as they pick up 2 in the third inning. We head to the fourth in Toronto. And welcome back to Toronto. Well, if you just missed, if you went to get a drink or maybe you had to take the dog for a walk, you missed a lot. The Blue Jays put up 2 runs in the third inning off Hector Velázquez, with Velázquez Jr. and Kevin Biggio picking up RBIs as Xander Bogaerts steps into the box for the Red Sox, trying to get some run scoring for them as they've struggled with that to start this season and now behind once again.
Well, they could have been behind a little further if Velázquez didn't get out of the inning when he did, but a beautiful changeup to strike out Shaw on the full count.
As Bogaerts grounds that one over to the shortstop, Bichette makes the play, 1 away now. In the top of the fourth. And if we look at a pitch speed comparison here, Tanner Roark and Hector Velázquez are 2 starters for today's contest, both hitting around 94 on the gun. So a bit of an even matchup in terms of velocity, but I'd make the argument, Drew, Tanner Roark doing a much better job of commanding his pitches early here.
And he's had command of not just the fastball, but we've seen the slider that he spotted all over the zone, going for it, trying to pick those corners. And it's early still, but so far so good.
As Moreland cracks that one past the third base line, trying to hit against the shift. And man, if that one stayed fair, he would have certainly had a very nice base hit. 0-1 count now as that curveball gets in there, just taps the bottom right corner of the plate. Excellent curveball. We haven't seen too much of that from Roark thus far.
Well, you talk about spotting all of his pitches, and that one right there, beautifully done.
2-seamer on the outside part of the plate is fouled off by Moreland, trying to survive here in an 0-2 count with 1 away. Here's the pitch. Looking for a strikeout. The slider inside, fouled off now to the other side as Moreland stays alive here. And the 0-2 once again, and that one inside. That changeup creeps a little too far inside as Moreland takes that one. A 1-2 count now. Roark up to 62 pitches on the day. And here's the offering. That low changeup once again fouled off. What a battle we have here.
Great spots in the last couple of pitches, not leaving anything that can get stung too hard. He knows he's ahead in the count, and he's doing well with it.
And that 2-seam gets away from him a little bit, up high, and it'll go to a 2-2 count now. And that 2-seam offering, excellent take by Moreland there, stays off that one, and it's a full count. As Moreland trying to get something going for the Red Sox, bases remain clean as he stays alive once again. What an at-bat we have here between Roark and Mitch Moreland, who walked in the second inning. Here's the pitch. That one swung on that two-seam just outside the zone, cracked over to left center. Grichuk gets underneath it, and he'll make the play. Roark wins this battle.
Well, and you can see what Moreland brings to the Red Sox with that veteran presence. A very well-composed at-bat, following a great play in the field in the last inning. Just showing he knows the game inside and out. He's been in the league. He knows what's expected out of him and his position, and that didn't quite end up in a base hit or a walk and didn't get immediately rewarded. But if he keeps doing that, I mean, all season long, you're going to see maybe a bit of a resurgence for Moreland after a up and down year last year.
And, veteran presence is very important on a team like the Red Sox, who, we've talked about. Drew, as that slider gets in there to make it a 1-1 count to Chavis, number 6 hitter. We talk about the influx of youth and kind of turning over this lineup, literally, as Chavis grounds that one over to Bichette. He'll make the play. Oh, no, he won't. That one is sailed much over Travis Shaw's head. And now Chavis trying for second, and he doesn't get it. Oh, my goodness. Michael Chavis getting a little greedy there as we head now to the bottom of the 4th inning. 2-0 Toronto. Welcome back to Toronto now. Bottom of the 4th after a pretty hectic end of the top of the 1st as Teoscar Hernandez steps in the box. But in that last part of that last half of the inning, Drew, Michael Chavis, he grounds over to short. Bichette fields it cleanly, throws to Shaw. Should be a routine play, but he overthrows it, goes past Shaw's head. And Chavis sees this and then tries to go to second, and he's easily thrown out on the play.
Well, it's very stark contrast to what we were talking about Mitch Moreland and the veteran presence. Chavis going for an aggressive, risky play there with 2 outs, going for second. He was out by a fair bit. Danny Jansen fired a strike into second, and maybe a risky, aggressive play, but probably not what the first base coach would have recommended.
You're right about that, especially as the Red Sox try to search for offense. That's just not what you want to do, especially if you're Michael Chavis, a guy who's trying to scrape his way and stay in the lineup. Nonetheless, he was out. The inning ended, and now Hector Velázquez has to try to get back to, try to get through this inning clean as he struggled last inning, allowing 2 runs as he strikes out Hernandez there on an excellent off-speed pitch.
Back-to-back strikeouts on back-to-back changeups. You got Shaw the end last inning. You can see way out in front by Teoscar Hernandez. That was a beautifully placed pitch right at the bottom of the zone. If he had taken it, might have gotten rung up looking there, but he swings and misses early, and Velázquez quickly gets the first out retired.
As Randall Grichuk steps in and takes a first pitch strike. 1 for 1. Grichuk with a single in the second inning. And now for Velázquez, we talk about, the whole bullpen game, leashes, things like that. I can't imagine Velázquez will have too much more room for error in this contest.
And both pitchers are slowly climbing in pitch counts. Roark's a bit higher up than Velázquez, but Velázquez already at 50 pitches with only 3 1/3 completed so far.
As that changeup fouled off there by Grichuk. One pitch that is working for Velázquez is his off-speed early on here.
Yeah, we saw him use it as a finishing pitch. We'll maybe see it again here with 0-2 against Grichuk.
And that sinker inside there on the feet. And we'll go to a 1-2 count now. Grichuk trying to stay alive in this at-bat. 1 away, base is clean. Here's the pitch. That inside offering swung on to deep left center, and Jackie Bradley Jr., playing center field for the Red Sox, is able to track that one down. Excellent job in the field for him.
We've mentioned how rangy this outfield is. Benintendi's got quite some range in left, and then when you put Pilar and Bradley Jr. in the outfield together, both Gold Glove contenders, the range and speed that Bradley brings to a center field is a pitcher's best friend out there.
Especially in the AL East, and especially at Fenway Park with the way that ballpark is kind of organized in terms of that large outfield. So definitely in need of some rangy outfielders in Boston, and they just traded away one. So they got one. They traded Mookie Betts away, who was a very rangy right fielder, but they bring in Kevin Pillar, and defensively trying to, stay alive. And also defensively, they're going to need, pretty solid defensive play with the way their rotation is set up. Not exactly the most trustworthy arms. 3-0 count now to Brandon Drury, the DH. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Trying to maybe create something in this inning for the Blue Jays. Here's the pitch. That changeup is taken on the inside part of the plate. 3-1 count now.
Velázquez showing a lot of trust in his changeup early on. The 3-0 changeup's not the pitch you see too often, especially as most sinker ballers usually will just rely on their sinker in counts like that. But he's used it to get some strikeouts, and now he's using it to try and work his way back in the count.
Here's the 3-1 count. That one slapped to center field. That sounded good, and it looks pretty good too. And it'll get out of here. Jackie Bradley Jr. can only look on as Brandon Drury hits his first home run of the season, 432 feet to dead center. And it's 3-0 Blue Jays here in the 4th inning.
That was a pitch that got left up in the zone, and Drury was ready and waiting for it. He worked himself ahead in the count, and when that pitch came in, he was ready and got a great swing on it, timed it up perfectly, and drilled it straight away, dead center field, nicely into the 100 level.
And some more production for the Blue Jays from the bottom of their lineup, as another man who's been producing lots from the bottom is Danny Jansen in the 9-hole, 1 for 1 on the day, as Velázquez now reeling, throws his 61st pitch outside for a ball. Velázquez now trying to get out of this inning. He's got 2 out, base is still clean, but the crowd is getting a bit louder here in Toronto as that four-seam offering just misses. 2-0 count now to Danny Jansen. And Jansen went 0 for 3 yesterday. A couple strikeouts, but a double in the 3rd inning as he hits that one over into center field. It'll get down for a base hit as Danny Jansen gets a 2-out single on that one.
And we've managed, he started all 3 games so far. You got to figure it's equally his bat and his glove that's keeping him in the lineup. Behind the plate, he's managed the staff so well. We've had a couple pitching duels so far here where both catchers and pitchers on both teams have been working quite well in all 3 games so far. Maybe a bit of a stumbling out of the gate here for the Red Sox, but in games 1 and 2, we saw some great pitching as well as, of course, Danny Jansen's bat has been one of, if not the best on the Jays so far.
As Bo Bichette needing a 0 for 2, but he's got a real opportunity here. The number 9 hitter gets on as he hits that one over into deep right center field. Pilar jogging over, didn't even need to look at it as he makes the play on that. But Brandon Drury puts the Blue Jays in front 3-0 here with that bomb to center field. We head now to the 5th inning in Toronto. And welcome back to Toronto. It's 3-0 Blue Jays after a Brandon Drury home run in the 4th inning. And Ron Ronicky discussing with his staff what to do next, as their offense has really been stifled in this contest and also kind of through the first 2 games as well. Pitching's been very good for the Blue Jays. We'll see if it continues now as we head to the top of the 5th. Christian Velázquez steps in. The 7-8-9 hitters drew for Tanner Roark, who is only at 70 pitches, but it is the 5th inning, so not sure what his, the rest of his outing will entail. As that one's hit to 3rd, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. fires that one over to Shaw, makes no mistake there, 1 away.
I think what's key for the Red Sox after that quick first pitch out is going to be getting one of the next 2 batters on base. If they can get Pilar or Bradley Jr. here, their 8-9 hitters up, then the lineup will turn over for its 3rd time through the order, and Benintendi, who's on deck right now, will have a chance to do some damage with runners on base, which he hasn't had yet all game.
As Pilar grounds that one over to second base, Biggio is there, makes the play. And the second baseman, I should say, makes the play. And 2 away now.
We talked about Roark's MO as a very consistent, reliable pitcher where he gets done pretty much what he has to get done. And so far, I mean, he hasn't allowed a hit to anyone outside of the top 2 batters in the order. Everyone in the center of the order as well as the bottom parts, he's dealt with. The 7, 8, 9 guys haven't been able to set the bases for the big bats at the top because he knows he has to get them out, and that's what he's done so far.
A very good outing thus far for Tanner Roark. That changeup misses. Let's see if he can continue that against Jackie Bradley Jr., the number 9 hitter for the Red Sox today. He swings over that changeup. Beautiful off-speed pitch there.
And now just 1 strike away from getting through another clean inning.
Yeah, and a quick inning too. He's thrown just 4 pitches now. And this is exactly what you need when you have kind of a high pitch count at this point in the game and you're trying to stay in it. Yeah, just get a quick outing, get some help from your defense. 2-2 count now. Roark trying to get through this inning. Oh, and he hits Jackie Bradley Jr. there on a slider that got away from him. And Bradley Jr. will head to first now.
Well, that's the danger of trying to work too far inside. His slider breaking in towards the lefties, and Bradley Jr. has a profile where he has a bit more chase percentage than the average hitter does, so trying to work inside, but it just gets away.
And now the situation you talked about that Roark probably wouldn't want to happen. Andrew Benintendi coming up with 2 outs. He's 1 for 2 on the day and a runner on first. That one swung on over to Biggio. He fields it, makes the play, throws to Shaw for the out. Tanner Roark gets out of the 5th inning clean. It remains 3-0 Blue Jays as we head to the bottom of the 5th. 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up for the Blue Jays. Welcome back to Toronto, and welcome back to the Virtual Jays Network. Game number 3 on the season. There's some action in the Boston bullpen now. Darwinson Hernandez gets warm, and he's been getting warm all series long, as Cavan Biggio steps in, 1 for 1 on the day with a walk, as he swings past that first pitch changeup from Velázquez. Yes, Hernandez and Ryan Brasher getting warm in the Boston pen.
2 guys that Renicky is clearly very interested in getting up. We've seen both of them up in both of the first 2 games, and Brazier actually pitched in both of those games. So surprising on the 3rd consecutive day that he's up and warming again.
Biggio slaps that one over into left field. It gets down past Benintendi, who chases it all the way to the wall. That'll be a double, a leadoff double for Cavan Biggio now. 2 for 2 with a walk on the day.
A great outing from Biggio so far. That time, with the outfield shifted for the pull, he was able to take it to left center field against the shift, find a gap, and get in very, very easily with a stand-up double.
And now a pitching change for the Boston Red Sox after Hector Velázquez surrenders that hit, that leadoff hit, as Martin Perez comes in, and we saw him make his appearance in yesterday's game as well.
Yes, yesterday he had quite a nice outing. He pitched 2 2/3 in relief, giving up just 1 run. No, not necessarily the ideal situation to be yanking your starting pitcher after just getting the first 12 outs of the game, but Perez is hopefully able to bring some stability here.
We'll see how it goes. A lefty now in to face Gurriel Jr., the right-handed hitter, who's 0 for 2 on the day. And now for Perez, I mean, you come into another tough situation, only in the 5th inning, so not the ideal start, as you mentioned, for Hector Velázquez. Now this bullpen really going to be tested for the Red Sox, as they're already down 3-0 in the game as well.
Well, and Perez faced Gurriel twice. In the second at-bat, Gurriel actually chased him from the game.
As he hits this one over in the left field, Benintendi chasing, and he gets there, makes the play, but nonetheless, Biggio able to tag up and head to third on the play. So Gurriel still able to advance the runner on that one.
Well, we mentioned Gurriel in the last night's game had that huge single to center that moved Biggio all the way over the third base and put runners on the corners in the 7th. That ended up chasing Perez and ending his outing, as Gurriel hits this one harder today, but that hangs up and Benintendi's able to retire him.
As Guerrero Jr. fails to check his swing there. Ump says he went all the way. It's an 0-1 count now. Guerrero Jr. 1 for 2 on the day. And hitting in the number 4 hole once again. Trying to get a hit off the lefty Perez. Is that fastball in there for a strike? 0-2 count all of a sudden.
And with Biggio on third, the Jays have to try and cash him in. All 4 innings so far, they've stranded someone on base when the inning ended.
So a very vital at-bat here, as Guerrero Jr. would love to drive in another run. That's what good teams do. They manufacture runs. Let's see if they can do it here. Guerrero Jr. flies that one out to deep center. Going to test Bradley Jr.'s arm here as he chucks it in. Doesn't matter, though, as Bogaerts tries to head home, but Biggio is already there. He tags up. It's 4-0 Blue Jays.
And that's the importance of that double to open the inning. You don't even need another hit when you've got 3 outs to play with and a runner already in scoring position. A pair of deep fly balls, and that's all the Jays need for their 4th run.
An excellent work by the Blue Jays. 2, 3, 4 hitters being able to generate runs, manufacture them. You're not always going to hit home runs. You got to supplement them. As Travis Shaw lines that one out. 2 Devers in the shift at third, and that's 3 outs now as we head to the 6th inning. Due up Devers, Martinez, and Bogaerts as the Blue Jays tack on a run here in Toronto on the virtual Jays Network. Two, 3, 4 hitters up now for Boston in the top of the 6th inning as Tanner Roark continues his outing here in Toronto in game number 3 of a 4-game set. And the Blue Jays able to tack on a run off a Vlad Guerrero Jr. Flyout RBI. That 4-seam offering low and fouled off by Devers, who was able to make the final out play in that prior inning.
Yeah, that ball was stung at Devers. He was in the perfect spot and put his glove up almost in self-defense.
As he flies that one out now to deep center field. It's going back, Grichuk chasing, and that one is gone. A solo shot for Rafael Devers, his first of the season. After making a great defensive play, comes back and gets a run on the board for the Red Sox. And it's 4-1 Blue Jays here now in the 6th inning.
107.4 off the bat. That was a line drive. That breaking ball stayed up. Looks like probably a changeup up in the zone, or either that or a curveball that just didn't break. And Roark, who so far had been able to stay down in the zone and locate his pitches, that one definitely a missed spot. As you can see, Jansen wanted it lower, brings the glove all the way up, but that ball hit a ton out to center field, and the Red Sox are on the board.
Yeah, and when that pitch came in, Devers' eyes glue up. And that one looked like a beach ball to him as he smashes that one out of here in the Rogers Center. But it remains 4-1, and Tanner Roark just needing to settle down a little bit as JD Martinez powers that one foul past the first base line. And, for Roark here, what do you think the key is to try to get through this lineup for now a 3rd time?
Anytime you're facing the lineup for the 3rd time, you can expect that every hitter knows what you've got to offer, and you can't wow them with your stuff. You have to locate and hit your spots.
Here's the 1-2, and he does it right there. Just as you mentioned it, Drew, he locates his fastball for his 5th strikeout on an inside pitch there to JD Martinez.
He got Martinez in on the hands in both of his first 2 at-bats. The first one was a strikeout, and the second one he wasn't able to get his arms out and just popped up to the first baseman. So that's 0 for 3 on Martinez. And if Roark can shut down a bat like Martinez, Charlie Montoyo will have much more value than the $12 million 2-year contract they gave him.
And you mentioned Roark's 2-year, $12 million per year deal. He pitched for the Cincinnati Reds and the Oakland Athletics last year after a lengthy time spent with the Washington Nationals. 0-2 count now to Xander Bogaerts, number 4 hitter for the Red Sox. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Swings on that one, grounded over to the third base side. Guerrero fields it and makes the throw over to Shaw. 2 away now.
And they got the ground out there, but that slider was up in the center part of the zone. And Roark may have gotten potentially a little lucky with a spot that definitely could have been punished.
You know what they say, sometimes you got to manufacture your own luck, and Roark's trying to do it here. As he gets that out now, two outs after allowing the leadoff home run to Devers. as Anthony Bass and Thomas Pannone get warming in the pen for the Blue Jays.
We saw Bass make his Blue Jays debut yesterday. 2/3 of an inning where he faced 2 batters and got them both out.
Roark up to 90 pitches now, as Moreland fouls that one off, a 1-1 count. And that 2-seamer low. And then, Moreland's last at bat, that was quite the battle. And be interesting to see what he can deliver this time out. 2-1 count now as he fouls that one off, and it's a 2-2 count.
Well, nothing to show for it in his last at-bat. The shift is on again here, and see if he can shorten up with 2 strikes and punch something to go away from it.
And that 2-seam offering, good pitch, but just a little low in the zone there. A little lower, I should say, outside the zone. And it goes to a full count, 2 away, as Roark tries to get out of this inning if he can. After allowing a leadoff home run, if he were able to get out of this, that would still show a lot of grit, especially third time through the lineup as that one's fouled off.
Well, you've got to be wary if you're looking at the Jays shift right now. 2 balls hit against the shift into foul territory back-to-back.
And that pitch in the zone, but once again fouled off. Here's another battle between Moreland and Roark.
8 pitches already. We'll see how long this one goes.
As Roark tries again for the punch-out. That one's grounded right back to him. And he looks at it for a second after fielding it and makes the play to Shaw. 3 outs, but wasn't able to keep it clean this time as Rafael Devers delivers a home run. It's 4-1 Blue Jays as we head now to the bottom of the 6th inning here in Toronto. And welcome back to Toronto. 6, 7, 8 hitters up now. As some more action in the Red Sox bullpen. Both Matt Barnes and Darwinson Hernandez getting warm. Martin Perez remains in the game after throwing just 7 pitches in relief in the 5th. And Hernandez 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout in his last at-bat, looking to kickstart things as we head to kind of the more bottom productive part of the Blue Jays lineup here. 2-0 count. Hitters count out of Hernandez. And that cutter just outside. Perez doesn't get the call.
Perez in his 2nd inning of work here. He relieved the starter, Hector Velázquez, last inning. So we've got a complete line for Velázquez now.
As that pitch drilled to deep left field. Benintendi giving chase. And that one is out of here. Teoscar Hernandez drills that solo shot to deep left. 344 feet, and it's a 5-1 ball game.
For Hernandez, that's his 2nd home run on this early season. We saw him in the first game in our home opener able to lift one out as he hit that one, also pulled down the line to left field. This one a lot closer, a wall scratcher, just gets out in left field. A line drive that didn't have a ton of height, but it had the power and it got out of here. Now a 5-1 game.
And at first, it looked like it may be foul. It was looking like, well, we're not sure if it's going to stay in or not. And it looked like even Benintendi may have a read on it. But nonetheless, that one gets out of the park. And it's a 5-1 ball game now. A 4-run lead for the Jays as Martin Perez tries to get out of this inning. And now Grichuk delivers a base hit to left field as well.
2 pieces of hard contact back to back. That one single, just a single, but man, you can see laces that one. Gets great contact, barrel the ball, and Grichuk is on base again, now 2 for 3.
And just as we talked about at the beginning of this inning when Hernandez was at the plate, trying to kickstart the bottom of this lineup, and here we go. He hits a home run, Grichuk gets on, all of a sudden, no out, a runner on, a run already scored for the Blue Jays, and Brandon Drury's up, and he hit a home run in the 4th as well.
Well, Perez is going to have to work his way out of this one. All of the runs charged to him. The first 4 runs charged to Velázquez. He gave up 7 hits and a walk, striking out 5 in his 4 innings of work. Kind of all over the place anytime you allow 8 runners in just 4 innings. Not quite the sharpest start, but a building block for him to move forward on for the rest of his 2020 campaign.
And it'll be interesting to see how this rotation fares, especially for someone like Hector Velázquez as the season moves on. But Martin Perez, a long relief man for the Red Sox, trying to get this inning, is now Drury drills that one into the gap. Pilar giving chase, and that one will get in there, certainly a double. Oh, and Grichuk's going to try to come home, and he does. He slides in there. It's another run scored for the Blue Jays. 6-1 game off a Brandon Drury double.
Back-to-back-to-back hits. All of them hit nicely. Drury joining in on the hit parade, as we've seen Teoscar Hernandez lead things off with a home run. Grichuk comes around to score all the way from first on that one, and Perez is in trouble here as there's still none out, and the Jays' hottest hitter, Danny Jansen, coming up to the plate.
This is not the kind of hitter you want to see if you're Martin Perez right now, especially a right-handed hitter. The lefty Perez running into some trouble here, and Danny Jansen a double and a single, as well as a run scored in this game. So, I mean, chance for a cycle if you want to get crazy with it. 0-1 count rather to Jansen now as Perez tries to record an out here if he can, and that one's hit back to the shortstop, and it'll be played over to Moreland for the out. One away now as Jansen is retired and Drury remains at second.
And a nice pick by Moreland there. Kind of bails Bogarts out on that one. That could have been trouble. Throw down in the dirt to the right-hand side of first base, but Moreland goes down and picks it cleanly, and there's the first out.
And when you're already struggling, as a pitcher, the last thing you need is defensive issues as well. But Bogarts and Moreland making good plays there. Bichette 0 for 3 on the day, trying to drive a runner home, or at least move the runner over with one away. He was able to move the runner over in the third inning when he moved Grichuk to second and allowed Biggio to actually end up driving home a run as Bichette hits that one to right field. It gets down. Pilar fields it now. He'll throw home, and the runner going home, and he'll get there as Brandon Drury slides in all the way from second. Pilar made an attempt, but to no avail as Bichette with an RBI single here.
Again, you mentioned how he was able to move Grichuk over in the third inning. He did the exact same thing here where he stayed back on the ball, waited for it to come to him, and took it to the opposite field. A phenomenal piece of hitting from a young hitter as Bo Bichette shows off his skills and gets rewarded with an RBI single.
And that'll be it for Martin Perez. A very tough outing for him as he runs into some issues in the sixth inning. And now Darwinson Hernandez making his first start of the season after getting warm plenty in the bullpen for the Red Sox.
Well, Perez will be charged with all 4 of those runs, and he's still responsible for Bichette over there at first base if Hernandez is unable to strand him.
A 7-1 ball game now. Blue Jays lead here in the bottom of the sixth inning, still just one out with a runner on first for Kevin Biggio, who's 2 for 2 on the day with a couple doubles. And here's the offering from Hernandez, we haven't seen yet. High fastball pitch there. 1-1 count.
Hernandez debuted with the Red Sox last year. He's a young left-hander, just only 23 years old. Pitched in 29 games last year, starting one and wrapping up a couple in blowouts. Not much high leverage appearances as he's in another low leverage spot here.
And Biggio able to clap that one past Mitch Moreland, who's in the shift there, or rather the second baseman Chavis in the shift there, and kind of in the shift, more so kind of playing a regular spot, but nonetheless, that one is hit past him. Biggio with another base hit keeps this inning going. First and second now for Gurriel Jr., who's 0 for 3 on the day.
And a nice piece of hitting there. A lot of lefties with swing types similar to Biggio, where he's got more of an uppercut to get that launch angle generated. They have that hole in their swing towards the inside lower part of the plate, lefty on lefty. Bichette, though, Biggio there, able to keep his bat inside, keep his hands down, and make solid contact there and pull that down between the first base and second baseman.
And Biggio continues his incredible hitting day, now 3 for 3 with 2 doubles, a single, an RBI, and a walk. Wow, a little bit of everything.
Quite the line score.
As Gurriel Jr. takes a high ball there, 2-0 count, hitters count with 1 away. Gurriel Jr., a chance for him to make some damage and join the hitting parade as well as he drills that one foul. 2-1 count now.
Gurriel doesn't have a hit to show for it today, but he was able to move over Biggio in his last play appearance with a deep fly ball to center.
As he grounds that one over to third, Devers there, makes the tag, and then throws over to Moreland for the double play. Boston will get this inning, but not before surrendering some more runs. It's 7-1 Blue Jays here as we head to the 7th inning. Chavis, Velázquez, and Pilar up for Boston. And now Shun Yamaguchi will take over in the 7th inning as they'll take on Moreland, Chavis, Chavis, Velázquez, and Pilar against the Red Sox here. But Shun Yamaguchi making his 2nd appearance of the season. He got his first MLB win in his first appearance, actually.
Yeah, he picked up the win in opening day, and he's back out here again now. He represented a strong part of the nice work of the Jays bullpen. They combined for 3 shutout innings. He pitched 2 of them. Giles finished it off by pitching a clean 9th. And he ran into some trouble with command struggles, walking a couple, but he was able to work his way out of it and strand the runners that he led on base.
As he throws a first pitch ball to Michael Chavis, 0 for 2 on the day, playing second base. Fouls that high fastball offering. Gets up to 95 there. He fouls that one off past the first base line. And, Yamaguchi, such an asset in that bullpen for Montoyo as that one is popped up. Biggio gets underneath it over in the shallow right field, makes the play, 1 away.
And Yamaguchi relieving Tanner Roark. So that's it for Roark's debut with the Jays. He looked very strong, picking up a quality start, going 6 innings with just the 1 blemish, that solo home run he surrendered in his last inning of work. But overall, just giving up 3 hits on the day. A stellar performance to start his Blue Jays tenure.
Absolutely, Drew. And Tanner Roark coming over, and you talk about reliability. He delivered that there, the perfect kind of first start to the season for him. That's exactly what Blue Jays management, Blue Jays fans, and Charlie Montoyo would want to see. And now we go to Shun Yamaguchi coming out of the pen, and he went multiple innings in the first game. Do you think that'll be a regular occurrence?
Well, it certainly could be based on his history as a starter. Even if it comes to it with injuries, he could even move into that rotation. So adding on to Pannone and Gaviglio, who gave them that last season, there's many options here in this Toronto pen.
And 181 innings pitched last season for Yomiuri in the NBL in Japan. As that low fastball offering grounded right back to him, and he'll throw over to Shaw for 2 outs now as Christian Velázquez is retired.
Kevin Pilar due up next. He faced Yamaguchi in the home opener and had a long battle with him, a 9-pitch at-bat where he ended up walking and came out on top. He was the first Major League hitter to greet Yamaguchi, as he was the first batter he faced in his debut.
And a bit of a slow start to the season for Pilar, and not much to write home about in this game. 0 for 2 as he fouls that forkball offering past the third base line. There's been some debate in baseball circles, Drew, about what that pitch is, Yamaguchi's. Is it a forkball? Is it a splitter? Some room for debate there.
Well, the Toronto Blue Jays head scout described it as a Masahiro Tanaka type splitter. So splitter, forkball, it's going to come in around in the mid-80s, 84, 85, and break straight down.
And we see it there, around 85, and drops below the zone and inside. It's a 1-2 count now to Pilar, who's trying to keep the Red Sox inning alive here. Not much going on for them as the bases remain clean. Yamaguchi getting the first 2 outs. And this is the exact kind of area of the lineup you want if you're a reliever. Chavis, Velázquez, Pilar kind of more lower in the lineup as Pilar drills that one over to right field, but Hernandez with a cheeky little reach behind there makes the play. 3 up, 3 down for Yamaguchi out the pen as we stretch in Toronto. It's a 7-1 ball game. Welcome back to Rogers Center here as Vlad Guerrero Jr. gets ready to head out into the box. A decent day for him, a couple RBI. In the bottom of the 7th inning, yes, 1 for 2, a single, 2 RBI. As he's going to tie his shoe first. But Darwinson Hernandez back into the ball game to continue in the 7th inning after he relieved Martin Perez in the 6th.
Yeah, he was able to get Gurriel to end the inning after surrendering the single to Biggio, but Perez in front of him just did not have his stuff today. He recorded 4 outs, but gave up 4 hits in the meantime, and he's responsible for the last 3 runs the Blue Jays put up.
Yeah, not the ideal outing for Perez or Velázquez, rather. Pitching being an issue for the Red Sox today, but also hitting for the Blue Jays has been very solid. They've been getting contributions all around the lineup. Calvin Biggio having a tremendous day. The bottom of the lineup, Teoscar Hernandez with a home run. Drury with a home run. As Guerrero Jr. grounds that one over to third, Devers makes the play on a 2-0 count and throws over to Mullen for the first out. But contributions from all around for the Blue Jays today. Is it the hitting or is it the pitching for the Red Sox?
It's hard to tell so early on. The Jays have a talent-filled lineup here that may be ready sooner than we expect, and we may have to keep an eye on that. But based on what we saw from a lot of the hitters last year where they still needed development, it's hard to tell whether if this is a truly legitimate offensive force of a team or if it was struggles from Boston. But for now, I'd say likely a bit of both. An inexperienced starting pitcher followed by a couple relievers that are more fringe guys. Perez was one of the last guys to make the team out of camp after Sale went down. And as we mentioned, Darwinson Hernandez, who's so far been mostly relegated to mop-up type appearances.
Yeah, a bit of a storm of factors leading to the early Blue Jays productivity. As that one is hit out to right field. Pilar makes the play. 2 away now as Shaw is retired. But yes, and I think one thing too, with the Blue Jays, their pitching has been so reliable and so consistent so far in the season that, the Blue Jays hitters, a young team, feels that confidence and maybe builds off of it. Is there something to that as well? A level of comfort there?
Well, it's early to tell for sure, but the big addition of Hyunjin Ryu, when you talk about comfort and confidence, having a true ace to start on opening day and really push everyone back in the rotation a little bit and make everyone a bit more comfortable is just going to have a trickle-down effect that touches almost everyone on the 26-man roster.
As Teoscar Hernandez steps in, he's 1 for 3, hit a home run in his last appearance in the 6th inning and, really kicked off that onslaught in the 6th. That eventually got Perez booted out of this game, and now Darwinson Hernandez takes on his last name confidant, I guess I should say. Hernandez versus Hernandez here.
All right, the stage is set.
3-1 count now, 2 away for Teoscar. He's trying to keep it going against Darwinson. And the Red Sox version of Hernandez delivers a strike. It's a full count now as Hernandez, full count, 2 out, tries to stay alive here. And he swings through that four-seam offering. Hernandez with a strikeout, gets out of the inning clean. It remains a 7-1 game as we head now to the 8th inning. Still remains a 7-1 game here on the virtual Jays Network. And we're back here in Toronto. It's a 7-1 game. Hits 12-3 for the Blue Jays in this one as Shinya Yamaguchi goes out for a second inning of work. Just 12 pitches in the 7th. And a clean inning, a 3 up, 3 down, as now he'll take on the 9-1-2 as Justin Miller and Sam Gaviglio also get warm in the Blue Jays bullpen.
2 guys we haven't seen yet this season. Miller and Gaviglio, both interesting pieces coming from very different 2019s where Miller was brought in after struggling in Washington, and Gaviglio has been with the Jays for a couple years and was a major piece in the 2019 Jays pen.
Yeah, Miller, a bit of a journeyman. 2018 actually had a pretty good season in Washington. More of a full season last year. He only had 15.2 innings pitched, so not exactly the biggest amount of sample size there. But for now, it's Yamaguchi on the mound, and it's a 2-2 count to Jackie Bradley Jr., leadoff hitter in the 8th inning for the Red Sox, who have really struggled at the plate once again in this contest.
And Bradley Jr., one of the only Red Sox that didn't get to see Yamaguchi. With lefty Ryu starting on opening day, Bradley was benched, and so this is his first chance to see him here.
And here's the 2-2 pitch to Bradley Jr. It's a high fastball, full count now. And the leadoff hitter, or the number one hitter, I should say, Benintendi on deck for the Red Sox. But 0 for 1 for Bradley Jr. is hit by pitch in the 5th inning as that cutter just trickles outside, and it'll be a walk now. That's 2 walks for Bradley Jr. in this contest.
And we mentioned 2 walks from Yamaguchi in his opening appearance. And for someone in the bullpen where you don't want to be making many messes and you're supposed to be the guys that get out of messes, a leadoff walk is very far from what Montoya was probably hoping for, especially when it's 9-1-2 and you've got the lineup turning over right now.
And we'll see how that affects the rest of this inning and if Yamaguchi can get through it as Benintendi pops that one up on the first pitch. Wastes that one, and Shaw makes the out. 1 away now as Rafael Devers, who hit a home run in the 6th, will step back up to the plate.
Well, we talked about the pitcher lines earlier today. That you can see the big difference not only in the earned runs category, but the hits category. 7 hits given up in only 4 innings by Velázquez, as opposed to the 3 hits given up in 6 innings by Roark. So a strong start for Roark, and Velázquez just not quite where he needs to be today.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Drew a very good outing for Roark and developed some confidence amongst that staff. That's very important, especially with the way things went last season for the Blue Jays. Lots of injuries. You need to have guys who are confident, and they've had a bit of a start to that. As Devers hits that one inside the first base line, it'll go fair. Oh, look at that. A base hit for Devers, his second of the day. Bradley Jr. advances to third on the play.
That one driven just over the first base bag. Bradley gets into third standing up, and it's worth commenting on Bradley. He's done a great job doing whatever he needs to do to get on base and set the table for these bats. He reached base off of Roark by working deep into the count and ending up reaching base by hit by pitch from his battle there, and then the walk now from Yamaguchi. He doesn't have to hit to get on base. Whatever he can do, the Red Sox will take it.
And now J.D. Martinez with an opportunity to drive in some runs. He's 0 for 3 on the day, looking to potentially mount a little bit of a Red Sox rally here in the top of the 8th. As Yamaguchi now in a bit of a tough spot here. But, 2-0 count now to one of the better hitters in this lineup for the Red Sox. But it's still, 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning, as the double play could still be in effect. 3-0 count now to J.D.
And you'd have to imagine down 6, he's got the green light here. Beautiful hitters count, 3-0, and he's seen Yamaguchi a couple times now. You'd have to think his eyes are lighting up here.
Especially in this ballpark with the way the ball's been flying today. As that low forkball offering excellent pitch there from Yamaguchi. He knew that JD would be swinging away. 3-1 count now to Martinez, looking to drive in something. And that one's hit foul past the third base line. Full count now as Yamaguchi's been able to work himself back into this count. Really good test for Yamaguchi here. The 32-year-old coming over from Japan. As JD grounds that one, or hits that one right at Bichette. Looked like it may have touched the ground, but Bichette does a great job of catching that line out. And now 2 away.
Yeah, lucky for the Red Sox that wasn't a ground ball, because that likely would have ended the inning with Devers over at first base. Ground ball, double play, could have been likely, but as Bichette stabs at that one, there's still life here for the Red Sox.
2 away as now Xander Bogaerts will take his turn trying to drive in some runs. He's also 0 for 3 on the day. So the 3 and 4 hitters both struggling in this contest for the Red Sox, especially at key moments of the ball game. As he swings under that fastball. 30 pitches for Yamaguchi, but 0-2 count, and he's still 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning.
He retired Bogaerts in opening day to end the inning. Let's see if he can here too.
0-2 count now to the shortstop for the Red Sox. Here's the pitch. Inside fork ball hits over to Bichette. He throws to second. Biggio is there to make the force out, and the Blue Jays and Yamaguchi get out of the inning without surrendering a run. As we head to the bottom of the 8th now, Grichuk, Drury, and Jansen up here in Toronto. It remains a 7-run ball game. And welcome back to Toronto. Randall Grichuk, the number 7 hitter for the Blue Jays, steps in. He's 2 for 3 on the day with 2 singles and a run. Darwinzon Hernandez out for his second inning of work, and the Blue Jays looking to tack on some extra runs to their 6-run lead. And they've done a great job, especially at the bottom of the lineup, throughout the first 3 games now of generating some offense. And first pitch curveball in there for a strike, as Grichuk swings over that one.
And these multi-inning outings are no surprise to Darwinzon Hernandez. We mentioned he had a bit of work with the Red Sox in 2019 where he made his debut. In 6 separate games, he pitched in multiple innings for them.
Here's the 1-1 count. Grichuk swings past that. Four-seam offering high in the zone. It's a 1-2 count now. Hernandez looking for the punch out here to start this inning. And that four-seam is fouled off past the third base side.
Well, he finished it with a strikeout against Hernandez where he threw a heater in at 96 and got the swing and miss.
And let's see if he can do it again here. Here's the pitch. And that four-seam low gets Grichuk there swinging. One away now for Hernandez in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, it was a fastball up in the zone against Teoscar Hernandez to finish him off, but the fastball low and down at the knees gets Grichuk. So a quietly pretty nice relief appearance by Hernandez so far, as that's his second strikeout, and he's only given up 1 base hit in the 6 batters he's faced.
And that four-seam just paints the inside top part of the corner of the plate there. Drury also 2 for 3 on the day, a homer and a double, 2 RBIs. But yes, a nice outing for Hernandez, at least thus far, as he tries to get through 2 innings clean if he can, and that four-seam misses outside. Here's the 1-1 pitch. This time it's a curveball that goes all the way across the plate. Drury swings through it. That's a beautiful pitch. Hernandez looking for his second punch out of the inning, and that one is well inside. He got a little too excited with that curveball.
Same pitch. That one looked like it got away from him there as he's up at 28 pitches already.
Trying to get back-to-back strikeouts off the DH Drury, and he hits that curveball offering a little too far inside this time, as that one is hit to center field. Bradley Jr. fields it, but Brandon Drury with a single, and he adds to his incredible hitting day as well.
3 for 4, and that's 2 hits that have been hit right back up the middle, the straightaway center. The home run also dead center. He hit a double into right field. He's really timing up hit these balls nicely, and he's all over what the Red Sox pitchers have been offering him so far.
Now Danny Jansen, who is also 2 for 3 on the day with a single and a double. He steps in to see what he can do here, maybe add to the Blue Jays' lead. But we talk about the DH position for the Blue Jays. It's been an area of conversation through spring training and the offseason. How much time does Vlad Guerrero Jr. spend at DH? And Brandon Drury DHing now, and he's done a pretty good job through the first 3 games of this season. But as the season goes on, who do you think maybe takes that DH spot and runs with it a little bit? Or is it more of kind of a by committee type thing?
I think as of right now, we'll see Drury getting a chance to keep that bat in the lineup. He's looked good so far, and I think when Tellez didn't make the team out of camp, that really meant that Drury was going to have the green light to try and run away with this job.
And I wonder how long, if Tellez stays at AAA and, Vladdy not having a day off his feet yet. That's something that Charlie Montoyo really prioritized last season, as Danny Jansen takes an inside pitch for a full count now with Brandon Drury at first. But it's certainly going to be an area of conversation. But right now, the DH spot's working. Brandon Drury's been fantastic and really powering or helping to power the bottom of this lineup. As that one is speared by Moreland at first, and then he goes and tries to tag Drury, and he gets him. Excellent defensive play by Moreland. He's been doing that his whole career, and he'll be up at the plate next as we head to the 9th inning. Blue Jays looking to close out this game. Well, welcome to the 9th inning here as Shinya Yamaguchi goes out now for his another inning of work for him, 31 pitches. As he'll take on Mitch Moreland, who made an excellent defensive play with the stab, catching the Jansen lineout and then tagging up Drury. And he decides to do a little something extra, delivers a bomb to deep right field. It's a 7-2 ball game if it's fair, and it is. What a hit from Mitch Moreland there.
Absolutely jumping on Shinya Yamaguchi there. First pitch of the inning, and Moreland was ready for it. Clearly sitting on that pitch and just pounced on it. You can see right here, that looks like the forkball that's left up in the zone. And the backspin on that pitch is just going to keep it sitting up pretty for Moreland. He hammers that one, and the Red Sox show signs of life here in the 9th.
As we see a pitching change now, Justin Miller will make his very first appearance of the season for the Blue Jays, and his first appearance with the Blue Jays as Shinya Yamaguchi. He comes out for the 9th. I understand Charlie Montoya, trying to see if Yamaguchi can have a fantastic outing, but, why not just go to another arm there? Why not get more arms involved, especially in a 7-1 ball game? But nonetheless, Moreland with a very good day, all around, especially defensively, but then he hits a home run there, and that'll be it for Yamaguchi.
Well, and we'll see another piece of the Jays' well-rested bullpen. It'll be Justin Miller. The stats that were flashed up on the screen were from a shortened season with Washington, where he was only pitching with them up until mid-May before his season came to an early end. But in that time, he looked pretty good. He's had a pretty decent career, a couple years with Washington. He's bounced around a bit before that. Carries a career 4.4 ERA, but he impressed the Jays throughout the spring, and he's earned a job in the back end of their bullpen.
He's another, project, I guess you could say, in that bullpen. Another guy who's been giving an opportunity, along with Anthony Bass and Sam Gaviglio, and even Shinya Yamaguchi. These guys who are trying to make the most of an opportunity. And here's Justin Miller's chance to try to wrap up this game and close it out for the Blue Jays, as that one's fouled off past the first base side. It's a full count now. Michael Chavis playing second base and hitting number 6 today. He's 0 for 3 on the day. And he drills that one to deep left center field. Gurriel giving chase, and it'll go off the wall as Grichuk fields it off the wall and hits the cutoff man there. But Chavis with a leadoff double here in the ninth, or not a leadoff double rather, I should say, but a double with none out in the 9th inning.
And that was a slider that stayed up over the middle of the plate. Jansen would have liked that one lower in the zone, but Chavis loves where it was, goes down and gets it for a double, and now the Red Sox bottom of the order will have a chance to try and produce something late in the game, as it'll be the 7, 8, 9 hitters now with a runner on second and none out.
Yeah, Justin Miller now having to work out of a bit of a jam here. Still has a 5-run lead to work with, but now a runner in scoring position with none out. Let's see if the bottom of this Red Sox lineup can maybe start to manufacture some offense. Be a good test for Miller as Pannone and Sam Gaviglio continue to work in the Blue Jays bullpen. And if you're Charlie Montoya here, you don't want Miller to have any problems, obviously, but especially just in terms of the rest for your bullpen with another game tomorrow and then a full series ahead against Cincinnati.
Well, if you need some time to settle into the season, this is a good opportunity. Inheriting a 5-run lead, facing the bottom of an order, and if he can't work his way out of this one with the cushion he's got, he's going to be in some trouble here.
And so early on, trying to make a good impact, trying to stay in the majors. That four-seamer pinches the corner there. It's a 3-1 count to Christian Velázquez, the number 7 hitter. Quiet day for him, 0 for 3 behind the plate for the Red Sox. That one is swung on, fouled past the third base line. It's a full count. As Velázquez trying to drive in a run here. Chavis on second. Miller takes a peek and delivers to the plate. It's a high fastball. And now a walk to Christian Velázquez. First and second after a Mitch Moreland leadoff home run in the ninth inning. Now Kevin Pillar comes up to the plate. 0 for 3 on the day, but all the fans were going to go catch the go train. Now they have to stay to see what happens here.
Yeah, this is a bit of a hero moment for Kevin Pillar. These fans loved him for so many years. Now he's coming up in a dramatic ninth inning where you might have, like you said, already left to go catch a train. But if you're still here, this game's not over yet. There's some interesting stories left to be told here tonight.
And we'll see what Kevin Pillar can do in a good spot. No, he grounds out to Velázquez Jr., who goes to second. Biggio for 1, Shaw for 2. What a double play executed there. 5-4-3. Excellent play started by Velázquez Jr.
And that's a huge double play. The Blue Jays could care less about the runner advancing to third. Getting those 2 outs means they just need one more to seal off this game and prevent what's been a building comeback here in this ninth.
And Justin Miller, that is music to his ears. He loves to see that. As Chavis does move to third, but 2 out now for Jackie Bradley Jr. Miller with a good opportunity now to get out of this inning.
And a great play by Guerrero Jr. to corral that chopper. Pillar's got some decent speed running down that first base line, but they're able to turn that double play fast enough to get both.
And credit to Biggio as well, did an excellent job turning it as Bradley Jr. fires that one in deep right field. Hernandez giving chase, and that one is gone. Jackie Bradley Jr. with a 2-run home run keeps the Red Sox alive in this one late in this game. Justin Miller surrendering that one. And wow, that was, I think if you're the Red Sox, you wish that happened a batter earlier.
The double play proving even more important here for the Red Sox now. Getting that extra runner off of the bases with the double play means it's now a 3-run game instead of a 2-run game. And here comes the Blue Jays closer, Ken Giles.
So Justin Miller unable to finish off this game. Charlie Montoyo forced to go to his premier closer, Ken Giles, who, if you're Charlie Montoyo, you are not pleased with your bullpen at the moment because now you have to bring in Ken Giles, who you were really looking to get some rest today after he's appeared in the first 2 games of this series.
Exactly. And so now this is 3 straight games for Giles, and what was looking like he would get the day off, now he's got to come in and face the top of the order. 3 runs in already for Boston, and all of a sudden, this game's a save situation.
Yeah, and it's still a 3-run lead for Giles. I don't think he's too concerned. And just needing 1 out, he might get it here as that one's ground over to Shaw. Fields it, throws to Giles, and a 2-pitch outing for Giles finishes off this game, which probably should have been finished off a lot earlier, but nonetheless, a 7-4 win for the Blue Jays. Never really in doubt, but the Red Sox with a bit of a rally in the ninth. Nonetheless, the Blue Jays are 3-0 to start this season and will go for the sweep tomorrow.
Well, you mentioned how Montoya wouldn't be happy with his bullpen. A whole lot easier to forgive and forget when you're 3-0 against a division rival to start your season. The Blue Jays, we've said a few times, no one was really certain what to expect with this young team and this young core. But my oh my, they've been impressive so far.
So Tanner Roark picks up the win in his first start of the season and first start with the Blue Jays. And Ken Giles tacks on another save for his 3rd of the year in 3 appearances. Brandon Drury is our player of the game, 3 for 4, a home run and a double. What was he doing that was so effective in this contest?
It seemed like tonight he had his swing timed up perfectly. We mentioned that he was able to hit a ball to center field straight away for his home run. He lined one up the middle late in the game, and the double to right center field. He was all over the Red Sox staff tonight, and it seems like he's got his swing in check and finely tuned after a few weeks into Dunedin.
Lots of good Jays hitting as we take a look now at the Blue Jays schedule. Looking forward here as, of course, they take on the Cincinnati, one more game against the Boston Red Sox, and then the Cincinnati Reds, who they'll have a 3-game set with before heading out to New York for a series later on next week. And then they come home to face the Kansas City Royals as we get well into April. As the schedule kicks off, also, of course, you can't forget that 2-game set in Philadelphia after New York. But what are you looking forward to the most as we take a look at the schedule, Drew?
I was going to say that it would be it's interesting to see interleague play so early, but after this late ninth inning comeback, I'm going to say my game to watch is going to be tomorrow afternoon. 3 runs put up by the Red Sox in the ninth inning, showing life and showing that the bats can get something done here, and maybe they're heating up heading into the end of the series. Tomorrow, we've got Chase Anderson on the mound for the Blue Jays, making his debut against the righty reliever turned starter, Nathan Eovaldi. So I think that's going to be the matchup. 2 very interesting pitchers with all sorts of volatility. And if the bats for the Jays are clearly alive and the Red Sox are heating up, that is going to be my game to watch over the next couple weeks.
A very exciting matchup tomorrow. The Blue Jays will go for the sweep, and the Red Sox will look to try to salvage this opening series in Toronto. Blue Jays have a great day, both at the plate and pitching-wise. A 7-4 win. They're 3-0 to start the season. And we thank you for joining us today on the Virtual Jays Network for this one. For Jackson Farough and Drew Frank, we'll see you next time, everyone.